Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So today we're going to be doing series Big Decomp Energy, where I take a look at some of the in-progress decompilations of some of your favorite games out there. And pretty much every video on decomps I talk about, I hear requests for Smash Bros, both on the GameCube, Nintendo 64, and Wii. So that's what we're taking a look at today, 2 of the active decompilations for some of the best Smash Bros games out there. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But let's start on the GameCube side of things, because honestly the GameCube Smash is probably what I would consider the best version of the game. Now fair warning, I'm not the best Smash player out there, so if you're looking for high level play in this video, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the decomp projects in progress. Now both of these are definitely a little bit earlier on as far as progress is concerned than some of the other decomps we've shown you that have hit 100% or hovering in the 90%. As far as the GameCube release though is concerned, what an awesome game, and I know a lot of people would love to see this come to a modern platform, getting maybe some better online play support, getting some quality of life improvements, better graphics, everything you could possibly think of. And that's not to say that Dolphin emulation of this game is no slouch, but honestly if this reaches 100% decompiled status, it's going to lead to stuff like static recompilations and PC ports. Now again, I always like to say in these videos, decompilation is only half the battle, pun very much intended for Melee right here. Once the game is decompiled, somebody has to come along, or a team of somebody's have to come along and actually make that static recomp or that PC port to a new platform. But definitely getting through step 1 of decompiled Smash Bros Melee is a huge event, and I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Might be 6 months, might be a year, might be 2 years. Honestly, there really isn't ever a time frame on these things. But if you take a look at the GitHub right here, you're going to see the most recent commit was 13 hours ago as of me recording this voiceover. Now I do show these out of order, so it might be a week or two that this has happened. Just depends on my schedule. You can definitely tell this one is in active development. And as far as this series is concerned, I only feature decomps in progress that have had a commit within the last year and show progress, and on the Melee side of things, that is definitely something we have. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's the one thing you'd like to see improved on Melee if it did come into a PC port. Sometimes with the 3D games, getting that free camera definitely is the #1 thing I would like to see, but obviously Smash is more of a fighting game, so you really don't have control of the camera whatsoever. But I could imagine a PC port having really nice online lobbies, maybe even adding characters and mods, just basically taking the game about as far as it could possibly go outside of what ROM hackers have already done to this thing. If we take a look here at some of the commits as well, you're going to see that some of the code has been ported over from Pikmin 2, a decomp project we've already talked about, so you can definitely see that these decomp projects aid one another, because there's certain calls to the hardware, there's certain ways the hardware functions, so definitely once more of these games get decompiled, it does aid ever so slightly. Now I'm not saying just because one game is decompiled that makes like 50% of the work quote-unquote free for other decomp projects, but everything people learn along the way is definitely going to aid them. So Pikmin 2 being close to 100% status definitely is going to improve things like a Melee decomp, because that is the thing, all of these learned knowledge bases from these decomp projects and all of these shared people that are actually developing them, every single project is going to aid a little bit in another one. And honestly, getting something like Smash on GameCube with a PC port would just be absolutely amazing, because this is still a game absolutely everyone loves to play. It still gets played competitively, and even if I absolutely duff getting all the trophies here because it's been a minute since I've played, it is still a ton of fun and maybe one of the best GameCube games out there. And you'll see here, if we take a look at the status, it is 31.07% decompiled, so obviously this is on the lower end, close to 100% compared to other projects we talked about. And if we go to this heat map right here, just showing you where things have been 100% decompiled or are in progress, you're going to see big swaths of just that black right there, and that's basically because it hasn't hit 100% or nowhere near it. But it is kind of fun to go through these heat maps, see all of the different components that something would actually work with. You'll see here, this is basically Kirby, and it's going to be all of the different attributes. Not much has been decomped whatsoever, but some things like the holding animation are 100% done. But at soundtrack sample time #1, imagine this music coming out of a native PC port. It would be absolutely spectacular. I'd love to hear it. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds and I'll be right back with the second game. I mean, Melee always had great music, and I'm sure it would sound great coming out of a PC port. But let's move over to Super Smash Bros Brawl. Obviously, going from the Wii to the GameCube here, another awesome entry, but probably the one I played the least. Again, it's one of those things. When the Wii generation was just starting out, I was very busy with work. I didn't get as much gaming in that generation as I would like to, so I came back to it. I did play it, but I'd say the number one game I probably played the most of is Smash on Wii U, just because I was stoked to have that 4-player GameCube adapter that you could plug into the Wii U. And obviously, we're probably going to get another Smash sometime soon on Switch too, so we'll have to wait for news on that. But honestly, this is another one that would be great to see decompiled and then potentially brought over as a PC port. You can do absolute wonders on something like Dolphin to make this game just like absolutely spectacular compared to the native actual Wii hardware, but it is still one of those things. The more the merrier, and because these games still are so competitively played, it would be great. But it kind of makes me wonder if the actual competitive scene would adopt something like a PC port of the game. I know most of the time every single fighting game tournament is going to be run on real hardware, so I kind of wondered to myself whether or not the competitive community would embrace a PC port based on a decompilation project. Now, on the Mr. FPGA side of things, there are some tournaments that are using FPGA cores now for fighting games, but I really don't have enough information on the competitive community as far as whether or not they'd use a port like this. It might be one of those things I might have to wait and find out, but absolutely everything would have to be perfect, all of the frame timings, all of the inputs for the moves. If competitive players couldn't play Smash the same way they did on a PC port that was decompiled from the original disc versus how they'd play it on real hardware, then I'm sure it wouldn't see much adoption, but my anticipation would be that it would absolutely be one-to-one. Now, if we take a look at the GitHub page for this decompilation as well, you're going to see the last commit as of recording this audio was 8 hours ago. Now, this one definitely isn't as far along as the actual GameCube version. It basically seems like it is just getting started out, but it's definitely one that I know you guys want to know about, so that's why I'm including it here, because there's so many awesome Smash games, and getting them decompiled would be a huge thing to actually get closer towards that PC port goal. And you'll see here, if we take a look at the overall code base right now, it is 0.64%. Now, obviously, if the goal is to get to 100% decompilation status, then 0.64 really isn't that far along. And trust me, that's not a knock against the project. These things all have to start somewhere, but you can see that this decomp again is in active development, and that is going to be an awesome thing. And I can imagine a future where you just have a PC port a couple years down the road from this thing actually being 100% decomped, and you pop into ranked competitive matches or friendly matches just like you would on any other fighting game that you'd play on your PC like Steam. And it's not like we can't get these games online in 2025, but it does take a few extra steps, so kind of just reducing that down to a very simple executable that you just jump into and start playing would be absolutely great, both for casuals as well as the competitive community. But of course, again, this is the very early stages, 0.64%. Not even 1% decompiled yet. If we take a look at the heat map, basically everything is going to be in black because it hasn't been touched. But it's soundtrack sample 2 time right now because I love the music of the Wii version. 35 seconds and I'll be right back with just a bit more. Honestly, they just make amazing music for all of the Smash Bros. Games. But I have a question for you down below. Melee or Brawl? I would be curious to hear what you guys say. Honestly, Melee for me is my preferred game, but I love the visual stylings of Brawl. I just love how good it looks in 16:9 with all these upscaled graphics. So something like a decomp of that then ported to PC would bring us a ton of those features, as well as a new modern platform to play it on. But again, and I can't stress this enough, just because they are in progress doesn't mean they're going to be done anytime soon. Honestly, maybe one of these things will get abandoned or just put on the back burner for something else. So don't expect to see a video saying that either of the Smash games have been 100% decompiled this year would be my guess. I think we're talking 2026, but because I have absolutely no plans on getting rid of the channel anytime soon, I will definitely be there for that, because we're getting a ton of Nintendo 64 decomps and even PC ports and static recomps, but the GameCube scene just seems to be popping off right about now. We have stuff like Animal Crossing, Mario Party, we have the 2 Pikmin games getting close to 100%, and we have of the two Smash games on GameCube and Wii now being decompiled as well, so I can't wait to see where this all goes. But it's one of those things. This is basically, in my opinion, the future of where retro gaming is going, and I can't wait to see where else it goes in 2025, because I'm sure we got more decomps to talk about. But short of that, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment down below and say what your favorite decomp project so far is, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.